Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Land of Dominion, as we're around for part 3 of the 19. Let's head to the map box real quick, get what we have since the last time that we were around. Midnight in the Desert with Man Markum is just waiting around the corner for us. So we'll start grinding and hitting the airship and everything else as they continue to talk about this weird individual. From last night, we pick you up. Midnight in the Desert from September 4th, 2015, talking about Man Markum, time traveler.
Everybody, Mike, Madman Markum is my guest. And we have now covered the the early years, I guess, is really the way to put it. So, Mike, welcome back. Somebody asked a question. It goes back, Otis, wanting to know, how do BB gunshots warrant a search warrant? Well, remember, on that search warrant also were the transformers, which means either they knew ahead of time. Did you ever find out, Mike, did they know ahead of time, or did they go over there and say, ooh, look at that, let's go get a search warrant?
Well, yeah, I mean, this is just a guess, but I'm guessing. My guess is that the guy that got busted for the BB thing, he more or less spilled the beans on me to give him so he could get a lighter sentence or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's what my guess is. I never have figured out exactly what happened, though.
All right, do me a favor and back about an inch away from the phone. It's really a good connection, actually.
Okay, can you hear me now?
I can. I hear you fine. It just eliminates the popping. Okay. All right, so now here we are. You're experimenting with animals. They're turning up elsewhere. They're disappearing and then turning up elsewhere. So you've got to sit down and start. I'm sure you were asking yourself, okay, so what the hell's happening here? What am I doing to these creatures? Obviously they're okay, but is it time travel? Is it just shifting? Is it disappearance and shifting of location? Or, I mean, you had to begin to wonder about the theory of what was going on.
Yeah, I mean, the low power tests, they were actually, they weren't just stopping once it would like disappear in the center of the tornado and reappear like nearby right away. Sometimes they would disappear for a minute, sometimes 2 minutes. So.
Well, when did you begin considering? I remember interviewing you, and you were considering yourself. You were considering trying this thing yourself, and that's kind of what I last remember, and that's why I thought you were dead.
Yeah, I got pretty confident. I got pretty bold and confident after so many successful tests. There was one test where I tried a grapefruit or an orange. I can't remember what it was. It was something similar to that, some citrus fruit. And that was never retrieved, so I don't know if it ended up in space, disintegrated, or what. But but I tossed. If I remember right, I tossed in like 200 objects, animals altogether. There was like 200 some odd tests. So
wow, that warehouse must have
unretrieved objects. So
okay, that warehouse must have smelled like ozone.
Oh my God! Basically I had to. There's in the roof, if I remember right, or near the top of the roof, there was like ventilation fans, and yeah, we had to keep those running to keep from poisoning everybody with nitrous oxide. So.
All right, so now take me forward as you will, because I kind of don't know what happened next. I thought you were going to jump into this thing, and I thought you were going to fry alive, and that's like the last thing I remember.
Eventually, I ended up testing it on myself because, like I said earlier, basically hamsters and guinea pigs can't talk.
No. No, you had to give an awful lot of thought before trying it yourself. I mean, for one thing, a hamster's or a guinea pig is really small compared to a human.
The the inside, well, that's the concern, because the inside diameter of this thing is only like 5 feet across. So you keep in mind the top of this thing is like 50 feet off the ground. So, and well, if it doesn't work, if I jump in and it doesn't work, I'll probably break my legs or my neck. So,
absolutely. So there's so many points of failure. You could jump through and keep going, and as you point out, hit the floor and break probably your neck and be dead. Or you could jump through, part of you would touch the wrong thing, and what would have happened to you if you'd done that?
Well, that's the most of the, as far as the electricity goes, most of it, I wasn't about to test the turret out, but the inner electrode, I guess you could say, was grounded, so. But well, usually if you touch a grounded optic for that kind of voltage, you're going to get a piece. You won't necessarily get the whole 3 million basically 3 megawatts, but you'll still get a piece of them, probably enough to kill you. So.
Sure. So you climb up, and I can't even imagine. I mean, you had everything turned on, up, coming like crazy, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
And you probably, what were you on, a ladder?
Cherry picker.
A cherry picker. So here you are on a cherry picker, and you got to figure out how to jump out of the cherry picker and through.
Yep, I ended up just crawling on top of the bucket. So.
And how long did you sit there and think about it before you jumped?
Well, that's the thing. I figured if I think about it too long, I'm going to stick it out here. I mean, normally, like I said, I had almost infinite risk tolerance at the time. I mean, somebody dared me to do something, no matter what it was, I'd probably do it. So, a lot of 20-year-olds are like that. So.
They are, and a lot of them never make 30.
Yeah, but ended up, I don't know. I guess about a minute or two. Basically, I made sure the camera was ready. Because, like I said, if I would have thought about it too much, I would have said, "Okay, this is dumb. I'm not doing it."
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, why not? I mean, this is an obvious question to me. I would have some kind of cushion, like they do with stuntmen, cardboard boxes and other stuff, so that if you did hit the floor, you might live.
Well, keep in mind, the only thing insulating this was air. If I stuck anything, there's between the bottom of that thing and the
Apologies, having just a little trouble at the originating source of the broadcast. Should have Art Bell and Midnight in the Desert with the Man Markum back momentarily. In the meantime, round 2 of this battle. Astra on the low side of power, but we'll see if he can hold as Oliver gets going. Dark side of Celeste engages. Drafting jumps back to the heel side. That should bring Astaroth along. It actually does quite nicely. When the show does return, I will cut back out. One last left. There we go. Moving on to round 3 of the fight. There's 1, 2, 4 more left. In the back. There goes 2 in one swipe. There's the only one left. And can't take the blade. Hopefully we get our needle. And we do. Hell, we actually get absolutely everything in that round. That was an awesome take. Let's try it again. Since it worked so well. First round's just 4 regular minions. Geared up though to a adventure campaign 8. And remember, we're just a few days away from Winterfest. If you weren't along with us for part 2, remember we did go ahead and So the first way to earn yourself some free coin to be able to use on gifts here in Nexter's Hero Wars. Remember, you can sign up now by going to part 2 to take a look at the information and the link, or just by going to coinbase.com/join/tparsley. Get you $10 in free crypto, plus the ability to take 2-minute lessons to earn extra crypto cash as well. And Nexters does take crypto as a purchase method to purchase items like your emeralds, the Valkyrie Faber, and more. Alright, just about ready to go into round 3. Here on the fight. Round 3 it is. What's happening with our Man Markum radio cast. Working on getting that back up as we continue to fight. And last 2 standing, and Leah is the last to go, and there she falls. Absolutely nothing really on the second time after we got absolutely everything on the first try. Well, 1 for 2, so let's go again. We've got 7 more we can do before we grab the energy for a third of 3. Remember, as soon as we do hit level 60, we do get the Elemental World. A great place to boost up the Titans will be available. Off to round 3 we go. Final 4 fighters. Three left. And there we go. Dum, dum, dum. And we get the scroll for the book. Not needed now, but definitely will come into play later. We'll do another fight. While that's going on, I'm going to run over to the server, see what's holding our broadcast, radio cast that is, up, and I will be right back. Enjoy the fight in the meantime. is complete. Oh, sorry. Got just about everything. The only thing we didn't get is the optional experience potion. But still a quite nice little pickup. Sorry, on that fight. So let's go and fight. Fight, again. While we do that, we'll do the last clickies. Should reconnect us to the radio cast. Off to round 3 we move. Well, we were moving. There it goes. Dark side with the slashing of Yasmin. And here should come back Midnight in the desert with this yokel, Man Markum, about ready to jump through.
I would have some kind of cushioning, like they do with stuntmen, where they have cardboard boxes and other stuff, so that if you did hit the floor, you might live.
Well, keep in mind, the only thing insulating the bottom of this was air. If I stuck anything, there's between the bottom of that thing and the floor is basically 3 million volts trying to get to ground. It basically burn anything you set under, basically you put underneath it. So, even with 35 feet of distance, you get a lot of corona. So
absolutely. Well, 35 feet is definitely enough to kill you if you land the wrong way, and probably kill you no matter what.
Yeah.
All right, so you climb up on the bucket, and you jump. And then what?
Well, long story short, it feels like I got hit with a flashbang, and I wake up, and I'm 800 miles east of there, and 2 years later. So that's basically, there ain't no other way to put it.
800 miles east, and 2 years gone.
Yeah, well, basically what I did, I more or less, it's not very scientific in hindsight, but what I did is cranked everything basically to the max. So, because I wanted to make sure that it actually leaked rather than hit the floor.
So, when you woke up, did you have memory of what you had done? I mean, what condition were you in when?
When I came through the other side, so to speak, I had total amnesia. That EMF and all that magnetism basically messed with my brain. So
I'm sure it would. I believe, like other mammals, we have magnetite, don't we, in our brains?
It's basically your brain's electrochemical. So basically, magnets will mess with electric fields.
So how possibly have gone 200 miles, and it was east, you say?
This was in Overland Park, Kansas, and I ended up, the nearest town I landed near was Fairfield, Ohio. You can Google map that. That's basically roughly 800 miles east. So
800.
it took me quite a while to figure out basically to remember what the heck I did, and then I figure out, okay, where the heck am I? So,
And where were you? I mean, when you woke up, what, were you on the ground? Were you in the middle of the shopping center?
Basically in the middle of a field. So.
Oh, that's actually at least lucky, I guess. Middle of a field.
I guess it rides the Earth's gravitational field, so I don't end up in space. So, which was basically one of my other concerns if I tried to leave too far. So.
Of course. Oh my goodness. So, here you are coming. Your clothes were okay. You were okay. You were stunned.
I was thinking basically, I wasn't on fire, other than basically my nervous system all screwed up. It was basically the equivalent of getting hit with a flashbang for, I'd say anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. I mean, I couldn't, for a minute, I couldn't even remember my own name, so.
For a minute. I get that. Okay, that's shock. You were in shock, clearly. How quickly did your memory begin to come back?
I would say probably an hour. It took me probably an hour or so to get my bearings, and it's like, okay. I mean, in 1995, I don't remember if they had GPS or not. I know, well, actually, this is okay, that's another thing, too. Basically, I did this in 1998, and on the other side, when I landed in Ohio, that was 2000. So.
2000?
Yeah, so basically not only did I jump 800 miles, but it skipped over 2 years too. So actually a little over 2 years.
This is all the time I thought you were dead.
And from everybody else's point of view, for 2 years I didn't exist. I mean, if you basically do a social security search on me, for 2 years they won't be a peep.
Oh, I believe it. Trust me, I believe it. I searched for you. I looked for you, and you did not exist. It's true. So weird with the story. All right, so now you're slowly beginning to remember, but at this point you don't have a home. You're 800 miles away from where you ought to be, or where you started. And as your memory slowly comes back, I mean, what do? You go up to somebody's door, knock on the door, or wander into a town, or what?
Yeah, eventually it was like, okay, it's in the middle of a field. I figured, okay, just maintain one direction. Eventually you'll hit a road. Well, at least if I get a road, I'll have some idea where I am. Basically, long story short, I ended up meandering my way to Fairfield, which is, it's not exactly a small town. It's just north of Cincinnati. So I ended up basically, okay, from Fairfield, it's like, okay, I know where I am now. So, and long story short, I ended up going from Fairfield to a homeless shelter because, keep in mind, after a few hours, it's like, okay, I remember my name now, so.
Madman, did your ID, did you have your wallet with you? I presume you probably removed any metallic objects before you jumped, I would hope.
Yeah, which included my ID, my credit cards, and all that, because with these magnetic fields, they've never been erased anyway, so.
So you didn't even have ID on you?
No, I had to go to the DMV. Basically, eventually, once I remember my name, after a couple days, I remember my social security number, so I had to go to the DMV and get another one.
Holy smokes. So here you are, utterly homeless, without ID. You slowly begin to get ID again. You're staying in a homeless shelter, and you have no memories of those years.
No, it's weird. Basically, it erased. I can still remember like old memories, but basically the newer stuff, like from the previous 5 years or whatever, I couldn't remember squat. So, other than like I said, for a while I couldn't even remember my name, but eventually I got that back. So, and actually, that was the first thing I got back, and then I remembered. Okay, it started coming back to me. So.
So weird. All right, hold tight. Short break. Mike Madman Markum is my guest. This man has traveled in time.
Again, just muting so we do not get a music copyright strike. As soon as they start talking, we will go right back to it.
exclusively on the Dark Matter Digital Network. To call the show, dial 1-952. Call Art. That's 1-952-225-5278.
Respectively, 18 to 20 years later, this is Mike, Madman Markum. All right, Mike, this is such an incredible story, and I really do, again, I'm going to add myself, that I searched so hard for you, and you were just
Yeah, that's another weird thing too. Sometimes, I'm sure everybody's Googled their own name before, but yeah, I guess there was hundreds of other people looking for me too. So
yes. When you were picking yourself up off the ground, Dale, I get these computer messages and they're helpful, wants to know, did you need a shave?
No, I mean, it was, from my point of view, I was only gone a couple seconds, I think. I mean, the closest approximation I can think of is as far as experiencing this myself. I mean, it felt like I got hit with a flag, maybe. That's the closest approximation.
Yeah, fair enough. But I mean, a lot would have changed if your body had actually spent a linear 2 years. You'd be shaggy. You'd have a long beard. You'd have long fingernails.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. From my point of view, it only took a couple seconds.
So when did you first learn, oh my God, it's the year 2000?
100 points.
At the homeless shelter. Long story short, I ended up, I already mentioned we got to the homeless shelter in downtown Cincinnati.
You told me you went there, yes.
Yeah. Well, yeah, eventually I made myself to the homeless shelter in Cincinnati, and, well, every day you get a newspaper. They get a newspaper there, and it's like, wait a minute, this is 2000.
So at this point, you've got to either figure, no, there's only one thing you can figure, and that is that you, in fact, traveled in time.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, the things I just talked about would have been true. You would have been shaggy, you would have had giant long fingernails, and so you did travel in time. And when did that hit you? That, my God, I really did it.
It took actually, when I seen that, the time travel movies don't really, they don't really depict it accurately, the reaction to people when they realized they'd done that. So, I mean, I was in shock for a while, so.
Well, movies need a little romance and drama and stuff like that, so you have to expect they're going to mess with things. But it dawned on you that, my God, I actually did it. I traveled in time. And then I guess, so you began to establish yourself? You got ID again? Did you get a job? Did you stay in the area?
I got a few temporary jobs. Eventually I got most of my memory back. I mean, even today, there's still holes in it.
Really?
So, long story short, I ended up basically saving up, getting a few temp jobs and saving up my money, and ended up going back to basically catching a Greyhound back there. And
so you take a Greyhound home. I'm sure you want to go back to the warehouse and see what's what, right?
Yeah, and go back there and basically go back there and it's gone, basically everything. And
you don't mean the warehouse?
Well, no, the warehouse. Keep in mind, basically this was back in 2000, like 15 years ago. So
right.
I go back there and the warehouse is there, but it's basically all my stuff inside is gone. So
gone? That's a lot of stuff to be gone.
Yeah, 2 years. This is all. That's plenty of time for. I don't know what happened to it. I don't know. Because basically I was going to try to hunt down all my donors, and basically that's another thing too. I couldn't remember the people that donated. So.
And a lot of people did, I guess, donate, huh?
Yeah, like I said, probably 25 or 30 people. So.
All right, so here you are. You're back at the warehouse, and it's empty. All your stuff is gone.
And I'm wondering, okay, what happened to it?
Of course.
And, it's like.
And then also you had
And basically, I was going like trying to fill in the past 2 years of what happened, and with everything, the whole darn planet. So.
All right, we'll get back to that in a moment. Since we got level 60, we do have a new situation to take care of. Urgent message from our sources. They've managed to locate the coordinates of the legendary Valley of the Elements. Whoa, it's inhabited! Now, what did you expect it to be, dear? You've got these magical coordinates and it was going to be empty? I'm so glad you're here. By Andrari's beard, I thought I'd go mad. Everything was fine, and then boom! The entire valley rose into the air. I wandered all alone day after day, all while knowing my homeland was in danger. Oh, right, I'm Mimin, guardian of the valley. It was created by the great Dwarmer engineers. Since you're allied with Titans, I'll share the main secret of the magical place with you, the elemental spirits. Oh, yes, I got a little carried away. Come here, will ya? Be careful. There's no need to hurry. Impressive, isn't it? This altar can return the Titans to their former glory, and resurrect the elemental spirits who grant them greatness. Grant true greatness. Titan artifact spears are extremely rare, but I'm willing to share some with you. Here, take them. Use these spears at the altar to summon the rare Titan artifacts. You've got 10 spears. Well, give a few seconds of our while we're waiting for it to load.
Yeah, I have to sit down and read the New York Times or something as bonus. Anyway, did you contact the owner of the warehouse to try to find out what had occurred, or what next?
Well, that's the thing. I couldn't remember the guy's name.
So, we're not going to reveal where you are now. We're just saying you're in a secreted away location, which happens to be really true. My producer got you to a special place for this interview tonight, right? Don't say where it is.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of want to keep that to myself. Like I said, live and learn.
Yes, live and learn, indeed. So what is ahead for Madman now?
While he thinks of that, let's see what these spears do. Oh ho, what a haul! You received rare items that can help you activate the Titan artifact. Let's go. Something incredible awaits your Titan. You can awaken the artifact presented by the best Dwarmer engineer. Go ahead and do that. These are the essence coins. We'll talk a little bit later on how those occur. The artifact is truly grand. The facet, the stature, and the power. Still, you'll need more fragments to make it truly perfect. There is a that's a start. Nevertheless, you'll have to level up your artifacts to achieve the greatest heights possible. Here, take these artifacts essences. You'll need them to level up that artifact. Okay, I'll take some essences. Oh, 500, okay. Now, level up that artifact. You've leveled up. While we're here, we'll do the second item as well.
Basically, eventually I'm going to try to rebuild that thing and test and see. Basically, I don't know if I want to do that again or not. That kind of, like I said, that kind of messed with my head. So,
if you build again, and I have this really strong feeling that you will, would you build to a even larger scale? Would you, in other words, attempt to prove to the scientific community what you say is true, or what would your objective be if you build again?
well, that was basically the keep in mind.
Humanity and the Dwemer were destined to meet in the great valley of the elements. That means the Dominion has united in the battle against darkness. We, the Valkyries, won't stand by. We shall help the Titans unleash their true power. We founded the Tournament of the Elements to make sure the Titans hone their skills to the maximum of their abilities. Come and take a look around, hero. Don't forget, only those who know and respond to the tourney's rules will receive their just rewards.
Mind when I said everything's gone, even my documentation for this thing, I don't know what happened to it. So, which kind of, even the time machine itself, even if I still had all my notes and stuff from it, basically I could say, okay, here, basically I could give it to the world, say, here's what I did, repeat it. So, if you can't repeat it, the whole thing's kind of useless. So,
well, not really, not useless, but it would be wonderful to be able to document this. There have been some physicists, theoretical physicists, for example, that commented in the article that we have up on the website about you and about everything that occurred, and they didn't feel like you traveled in time, but they didn't know what happened on the other hand either.
Yeah. Well, yeah. They brought up that. Well, if this is true, then why don't they create vortexes with every lightning strike? So the thing is, though.
Yeah, but that's not fair. That's not fair.
Yeah, you can't really stir a lightning strike. It's there and gone so quick. So.
That's right. That's exactly right. But your magnetic fields could essentially stir it, and you were almost soup or fried chicken. I don't.
Alright, I don't think I would use the fried chicken reference art. And she wants us to take a look at the rules. Those who rank highest in the tournament will be rewarded with important hundreds of thousands of elementals and enter the Hall of Fame. Victory will earn you fame, as well as elemental tournament coins and certificates. Please accept some. Alright, so we get 500 coins and 2 scrolls. Yay, we like scrolls. So now you have to choose a team to defend. And it's going to warn you that once you choose a team and once you actually start fighting a round, you cannot change that team. So for now, it would just be our front 5. And actually, what I'm going to do is if I take Vulcan out, It's only a 1 point difference, and I get a Super Titan instead. Alright, we're going to put some music back up as we do some round 1 fights.
Well, that's the thing about it. I didn't even have one single RF burn mark or anything on me. So, I mean, the magnetic fields mess with my brain. So, other than that.
Do you remember enough of your system that if you wanted to rebuild it now, you could?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say it's not 100%, but I would say probably between 90 and 95%. So the rest I could basically do the trial and error thing and figure it out again. So.
Do you think
right now is, I mean, keep in mind this thing probably costs several $1 million. So if I actually had to pay cash for everything,
right?
So,
Mike, do you think that time travel in either direction is possible or only forward?
Well, here's the thing. From my previous experiments of going in reverse, because at first it's like I tried to hold the portal open, so to speak, and basically that way I can walk through and then basically come back to where I started again.
Yeah.
Well, every time I've tried that, I've crashed the power grid. It takes way too much energy. It's basically, I agree with all the other physicists as far as that goes. Basically, backwards time travel. Well, let's put it this way. Basically, time travel does not work the way Hollywood depicts it.
Oh, I've got that.
I mean, yeah, you can basically go backwards in time, but not to any point you pick. I mean, basically, I was like, oh, cool, I want to go see Christ. I want to go see Christ's crucifixion. Well, unless you build a time machine at 4 BC or whatever, actually 33 AD or whatever, unless you actually build a machine at that time and have it powered up at that time, you can't return to that time. So, if I build the machine, long story short, if I have the machine powered up tomorrow,
yes,
you can't come back to the day.
So those 2 years, it's like they just don't exist for you, which means that you did not age during those 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, long story short, I mean, as far as the time travel aspect of it is, it basically works the same way as or basically relativity.
All your long stories are, I'm noticing, short. So we've got a good long show, not that long, so you can make long stories medium, and they are. All right, hold tight. Mike's Man Markum is my guest. 18 to 20 years. Hey, that's it.
Okay, again, we'll drop it out until they do get back to talking. Meantime, we will continue our next fight.
Periscope session, so hello there if you're watching. Generally seeing the back of my head can't be very exciting, but you can see the show kind of in motion from that angle, so I set it up that way rather than facing me and my ugly mug, no point in that. So, we have classic stuff here. Mike Madman Markum. You have now heard his story, I think, to date. I'm sure there's much more to say. For example, Mike, here's a question. Somebody wants to know why, for example, weren't the police there or somebody to stop you from jumping through? They had to know that you were building up to it, right?
Well, that's the thing. I've kind of after all the publicity, the only people that knew about it is the people that donated. So I never told anybody else. Not the people I work, nobody. So.
Well, that really does make sense to me because somebody surely would have stopped you, right?
I don't know if they would have or not. I mean, technically, it'd be kind of hard to prove it as a suicide attempt. I mean, when it exactly wasn't.
So they might have looked at that equipment and figured out it was going to be a suicide, no matter what. Hold on one sec, Mike. All right, so phone lines are open, folks. Here it is. Finally, they're open. You can ask questions if you would like, and I'm sure you have questions.
I'm trying to speed this up because I'm trying to get the 6 done before the guild reset.
225-5278. Put a 1 in. 1-952-225-5278. If you're calling on Skype, MITD51, or outside North America, MITD55. They probably would have, I think, Madman figured you were going to do yourself in, and they, somebody would have stopped you, I'm sure.
Well, nobody did.
Nobody did, as it turned out, but
if you check out, there's plenty of YouTube videos where everybody, they actually have suicide videos on YouTube. And, there's just about everything on YouTube. They look hard enough, but there's all sorts of weird things on YouTube, and including that stuff, and including some guys standing on top of electric trains, basically just reaching up and grabbing the 25,000 volts of power of the train, and when you do that, it zaps you like a bug. So.
That's right. All right, somebody wants to know, because there was a rumor, Mike, that you did an experiment with a cat. Is that true or not?
No, I don't know where that came from. Somebody made that up due to lack of information, because after the first round of publicity, I more or less made up my mind. It's like, oh God, I can't stand being a celebrity, so.
Yeah, you don't. I know you don't seek out fame. I'm very well aware that you don't seek out fame, Mike, and so it's an honor to have you on the show. It really is.
Well, yeah, not everybody. Like every Hollywood actress or actress, whatever. Not all of them basically like the limelight. So I compare myself to Jodie Foster. I don't mind basically every now and then, but as far as
there we go. There's our 6.
It's really, it's just, to me, it's disconcerting having somebody I don't know run up to me and ask for my autograph. So.
I know the feeling. Go to restaurants and people want to. Anyway, listen, Mike. People want to know.
A true champion should and appreciate every now and then. You make good luck, hero. Made to shine. Basically, wants to show us the merchant. And the merchant's even talking. Searching for rare stuff, are we? My goods are extremely valuable, and the assortment changes every day. Yeah, no, it doesn't. No, it does not. Stop freaking lying. It's the same exact stuff every day, by the way. So, yeah, no, it doesn't change. Come by whenever you like. As long as your pockets are full of coins, of course. You should build up your strength and get the hang of everything here. Somehow I feel I'll need your help before long. We're about to set off our journey to a mysterious faraway city that needs our help. Huh? What? Huh? We have awakened experiment skills and... Dude, really? Yeah, I like him. He's like, wait, what? We just got here. Alright, let's go back down and get the price before the day resets.
If you were
back
to do
to
this
Art.
again, let's think about it for a second. You could conceivably hopscotch into the future again and again and again. Maybe you could figure out a way to do it with less trauma to your own person, and you would still be a young man in the year 20 whatever you want.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the problem is it's a one-way trip. I mean, it's like the same thing as using relativity.
Yes.
So,
well, it is a one-way trip.
Well, that's the advantage of everybody. It's already been scientifically proven you can use gravity to dilate time. Well, basically, I'm using electromagnetism, which is 10 to the 30th times stronger.
Right.
So
right.
I don't need basically a black hole to do this. So.
They're getting ready to try to create a black hole at CERN. You have any thoughts on what might happen when they do?
Well, they're going to be basically. I'm with everybody else. Like as far as all the other physicists, as far as that goes, they'll be so small they'll evaporate almost immediately.
I hope you're right. I really hope that's what happens.
Well, I mean, if not, they'll swallow the Earth at nearly the speed of light, and we won't even see it coming. So.
Yeah, it'll be over. Oh, just like that. All right. On Skype, you are on the air with Madman. Hi. I think it's somebody named Torch. You're on the air. Hello.
Hey, how's it going, Art? Welcome back.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask, the key thing that you really need the most is funding, right?
Funding or equipment. So.
Okay, well, if you could travel into the future, or even if you could travel into the past, wouldn't the number one thing would be to find out what the numbers are going to be for tomorrow and
well,
come back and play those numbers and you'd be able to fund yourself with millions of dollars?
Well, I mean, obviously that's the first thing I thought. I actually had a reporter ask me that back in 1995 when it's like, what were you planning to do with this thing?
Right.
When I actually told him I was going, I'm going to go into the future, get the lottery numbers, and then come back and give them to myself. I mean, when I told him that, I was actually laughing when I said it. It was a joke. I mean, I didn't think they would take it seriously. They hung on every word I said, so.
That would be the key to do, though, don't you think?
Well, that's the problem. The thing stopping me from doing that, though, is I don't know how to go in reverse. I mean, like I said, I can't go back before I turn this thing on. The best I could do is if I turn it on today, I can go to tomorrow, and then come back to today, but I have to keep the thing on the whole time.
Is there any way you could send, information?
So much energy, I can't do it. It can't be done.
Yeah, he was asking if there's any way you can send back information.
I haven't really looked into that. I mean, I've heard of other people, basically, using like this one guy supposedly made a TV that could see the future or whatever, but I haven't figured out how to do that yet. So.
What would really bother me is to lose you. I mean, really lose you. I thought you were lost for 2 years, Mike, and now I have this feeling. I just have this feeling that you're going to rebuild somehow.
No, that's the eventual goal anyway. So, I mean, it may or may not happen. Now, there's this. I guess if it happens at some point in the future, I can't really say it didn't happen. But there's this story floating around me on the internet where I ended up back in 1930 crushed in some tube with a cell phone in my hand or something. Well, as far as I know, that didn't happen. But that's not to say that I don't do it at some point in the future. I don't see how, because I don't know how to go back to any arbitrary point in the past. So.
I've got to say that even going forward in hops, and holding your youth at the same time, if you didn't have to end up with a headache, no ID, and in the middle of the field somewhere, would be pretty cool.
Yeah, well, I mean, looking back on it, the foolish thing I done, I mean, basically was I didn't wear a Faraday cage when I jumped into it. I didn't think I needed one.
Yes.
I know better now, so.
Yes, you did. All right. Let's go to, Kansas City on the phone. Hi, you're on the air.
Hello, Art. How you doing?
I'm doing well, sir. Thank you.
Okay, a couple of things for you. I'm a skeptic. I love your time travel talk. I love hearing it. I love reading it. It's great.
Are you a skeptic of what Mike did?
Well, not necessarily. The proof is in the pudding, naturally, okay? The thing that bothers me on a situation like this, you travel in time, you lose track of 2 years, person can go into a coma, okay? My thing is a two-way travel. You go forward, you come back. You go back, you come forward.
Well, that would be ideal.
It would be ideal, and it would be the real proof, okay? And the other thing, and Mike, this is for you, okay? I have a lot of close family, a lot of close loved ones keep track of me. What did your family say or think this time you were gone?
Oh, good question. A really good question. How about it, Mike?
Alright, there we
well,
go.
basically they thought I vaporized myself, so they were freaked out.
Did they submit any reports to the police? Did they, a missing person report or anything?
That's actually one of the first things I did when I was in that homeless shelter. I ended
Oh, I
up
thought
going
it
to
was
the
actually
library and
already
doing
there.
a search myself.
They said no 19. Okay. Thought I had the
and nothing
20th.
turned up. So basically, I don't know if they filed missing persons or not. Basically, they said they did, but I can't find anything. So.
All right. Here is somebody named Clay who is on the wormhole saying, has Madman ever considered creating a Kickstarter page to fund yet another project with the proper funding? He could even keep a video blog to record his results, thus proving the experiment works.
You know what? That's actually I never actually considered that. I mean, usually with Kickstarter, it's things with with at large, there's probably so much skepticism. I don't think I'd get that much anyway. So.
Okay.
So.
It's not a bad.
It's actually an idea.
It is.
One of your original callers from from '95, they asked me if I was going to be publishing. Well. I'm not your typical, basically one of your other guests. Most of the other guests already have like a book published or whatever, and then they go on your show to promote it.
Yes, I know. You don't have a book to sell, right?
Yeah, I don't. It's like I've never. That's my weak thing. On the technical side, I'm a math and science guy. As far as basically the English side of it, when I was in college, I barely passed that.
All right. Here's what I recommend, Mike. Seriously. There will be a lot of people who would be willing to ghost author for you or co-author for you. So in other words, you could, in detail, with drawings that, if you can remember, of the equipment, the warehouse, the whole thing, everything that's happened beginning to end, as you told it on this story, on this show rather, but in more detail, and write a book. I recommend you do it. Now, I'm not sure how we can.
I did remember Stephen Hawking's publisher said every formula, including this, is going to cut yourself in half. So.
If we have a publisher who would like to do this, how about I have them contact my producer? You know her, very nice girl, Heather.
Yeah.
Right. And
actually, we got some of those
maybe
spears.
You should make a
Let's
book
go grab them.
Mike.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody else is going to write it, I mean, I could write all the techniques, basically the meat and potatoes of it, and they can more or less do the rest. So.
And if anything deserves to be published, it's this. And that it would go a long way toward, I think, funding any project you want. It's just an idea. David, you're on with Madman Markum. Hello.
Art, man, looking good. I see on Periscope.
Oh, hi.
Question for Mark, or Mike.
Mike.
So.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's intriguing because you don't really have an angle on this. I mean, you don't have a book deal like you said before. Art kind of found you back in '95. So what about the witnesses? I mean, is there anyone out there that can corroborate your story? I mean, where are they at? Maybe we can find them tonight. I don't know.
Well, I mean, basically, like I said, I can't remember. There was what was her name? Her last name was Sanderson. That's the only one I can remember. So, but yeah, originally, there was like 25 or 30 people that basically were there when I was running this thing. So.
All right, just like the police officer who contacted me and actually went on the air. I mean, how often does that ever happen?
Crap. I just said it earlier. Oh, Tom Hampton.
I'm sure he could be found. I'm sure that some other people who were funding you.
Actually, he's actually still an officer in Stanbury, as far as I know. So.
Wow.
So yeah, basically, small town people, they more or less grow up and die there. So.
I do understand.
Yeah, so you can find, some of the people that were there in the warehouse,
Right. I think it's a wonderful idea, caller. Thank you very, very much. and put it all together, chronicle it in a book as best as you can remember it. I understand.
Just going
that
to
your
wait
memory
just
got
a moment or
harmed.
two for the reset.
Certainly, that's not a surprise.
Yeah.
I'm just.
It's like when I was talking to Heather like yesterday, I was
Right.
like, I was like telling her about this experiment where they were basically taking these 8 Tesla magnets, which is a really, really strong magnet, but they actually got it. The tech is mature enough where they actually make that handheld, and they were actually doing showing it off for the Discovery Channel, where they're actually taking that thing, pulsing it into some guy's brain, and he's counting from 1 to 10 while this thing's pulsing in his head, and it was actually messing with his speech centers where he couldn't talk, where he couldn't count.
I believe it. I absolutely believe it. So
it's like these guys are PhDs, and it's like, oh my
All right,
God,
there we go. New
I
day
think
in
you
Dominion.
basically know more about this than I do, and you're still doing it.
it's almost like you were in a
We will get back to him in just a quick second. The reason I'm waiting for that deal is now I can actually claim again, and now we'll get the new items.
timeless coma for 2 years. I don't know how else to think about it. I mean, you've got to ask yourself, I certainly ask, where was Madman for 2 years? Where were you? Did you simply jump through that time and land on the field? It seems that way.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I didn't, like I said, I didn't physically age as far as I could tell. I mean, my fingernails were the same length as they were. I didn't have that, not even one day's growth of facial hair. So, as far as I could tell, I just skipped over that 2 years. So.
All right, let's stay with the phone and go to next, whatever next is. Hello.
Hey, Art, this is Tom Brookwater. How you doing?
I'm doing well, Tom. What's up?
Yeah, I just wanted to. I missed part of the show, unfortunately, and I just wanted to ask, Mike, did you have any feedback from the government or anything? Did any government officials get in contact with you? I mean,
that's a very, very good question. A very good question.
I mean, well, that's the thing. I mean, Hollywood, basically, they'd have me, the Men in Black show up and make me disappear. Well, obviously that didn't actually happen. So.
Did anybody from the government at all contact you?
No, basically you would think they would. I'm sure they have spy satellites everywhere, so I'm sure they know about it. But no, I didn't hear a peep out of them. Nobody came knocking on my door offering me money saying, "Hey, come work for us. We'll give you all the funding you need." I mean, that happens in every Hollywood movie you ever watch, but
not real life.
Reality is a little bit different. So.
That's incredible, Mike. You would think that some government agency, DARPA, somebody.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think, Department of Energy or DARPA, really, actually DARPA, because basically they've done all sorts of strange things. So yeah, you'd think they would be coming, like knocking on my door, checking in, but nope, didn't happen.
If they were to come to you now, what would you cooperate with them, or?
Usually, I mean, the thing with DARPA, well, I don't have first-hand experience with them, but I'm willing to bet they try to militarize basically the check isn't free and clear. There's always strings attached.
I hear that. So. All right, very quickly, let's try this. You're on the phone and on the air.
Hi, Art. What a pleasure to be on the phone with you and with Mike. First of all, I want to say that I appreciate your interest in time travel because
never ending.
One downside to go.
Because you have such an interest, it allows all of us who also have an interest to enjoy these topics in depth. But my question is this. We know obviously that he ended up in our dimension. In other words, when he went through this so-called time machine, he didn't go into like another dimension or an alternate future. He obviously was stayed within our own dimension, our own time, our own space. So that begs the question, the Earth is in a different spot 2 years from now. So if he ended up in the same locale, the same dimension as
Well, no, wait a minute. He moved 800 miles, remember?
No. The Earth.
I'm with you. I'm with you. So in other words, we're at a break. So, Mike, that is kind of a cool question, and one worth considering during the break. I'm on the.
And that is where we will leave Man Markum tonight. We will pick him back up tomorrow. I'm just trying to get us to 6 wins so we can max out the prize. We're at 2. There's 3. The rest of these guys are higher ranked at like 20 or 30,000. We may not definitely be able to punch with only having 14k power. But even if we can't, having 3 is not a terrible situation. And then that means we'll only have to use 3 out of tomorrow's reset to finish today's prizes. Well, we actually got that win. That gives us 4. Going for number 5, or at least attempting to go for number 5. And it doesn't look like we're going to get number 5. Okay. So we got 4. So we will have 2 to fight sometime here in day number 20. One last quick thing we'll take a look at before we do bring the end of this day to a close. And that is if we do have the ability to do any of our 2 guild war fights. We will come off of Titan Valley to hop over to the Guild War planet. OPEC currently leading 60-0. One of the 3 bridge pieces are down. 74,023 is not going to be a play for us. Lighthouse counts 144. Magic Academy 90 and 93. Barracks at 93. And, well, the Foundry, once it opens, 50-50 and 110. So we could definitely do at least a middle 50. Maybe both. Ring of Elements, 10, 28, 26. We probably could punch. Definitely number 1. We could probably punch up to number 2. These 3 Bastions. Bastion of Ice. Definitely can punch 2 and 3. Bastion of Fire. Maybe punch up to number 3. Gates of Nature. Definitely got to try to punch in there. But with that bridge still currently locked away, we will not be able to do anything. So we will leave it here. We will come on back for day 20. Remember, please like, share, and subscribe. Get us to those goals of 5,000 views, 1,000 likes. 1,000 subscribers by Nexters and YouTube. Also, if you'd like to earn some crypto to go ahead and make some purchases here, check out coinbase.com/join/tparsley to go ahead and get yourself $10 in free Bitcoin, as well as to be able to take 2-minute lessons to earn free crypto. And as we say in our guild, release the Krakens. Winterfest is coming in just 4 days.